Hi everyone, so we are going to learn how to quickly make some stylized and even a bit more realistic tentacles. To create the squid, I deformed a sphere, sliced the bottom, brought a box, deformed it into shape, and then inflated the borders. Then I used an insert mesh with a sphere for the eyes and a capsule for the mouth. First, I'll start selecting the subtool and turning on my symmetry. Then I'm going to go to my brush and select curve tip. This will give me this brush. We can also change the size, and we could click somewhere to make it real, and then we can do stuff like this. Maybe it's a bit big, so we can bring them down. So yeah, this is like the most basic way, but you can also play around with this tool. So I suggest you to go to the stroke palette. You can find it also here, and we can go to curve modifiers and select size. Right now this is our current curve, so it's going to be bigger on the end point compared to the start point, and we can invert it by clicking here, and we can click again over our curve to reset it. So right now we can create this kind of from big to small. We can also play with the curve just a little bit. I want them to be a bit choppier. Yeah, something like that. And we can also control the curve. We can change the size of the fall off and the amount that we're going to control over the curve. If we go out of it and change the draw size, this will also affect the size of our curve. So let's go back, and if we want to change the size that we are affecting the curve, we can press space when the cursor is blue, and we can turn it down and move it around. We can also go to brush and curve resolution to give it a bit more resolution, since right now it's a bit, these edges are a bit stretched, so we can crank it up to, let's say, 4 maybe, and then it will give us a nicer and smoother option. If we wanted to create a bit more realistic tentacle, we can use the same principles. Like we got something like this. Let's close this and open ZBRUSH. And I'm looking at some references right now. So I'm seeing that they are like pretty strong over here. I'm going to try to give it a nice curve shape, so we can get a nice read from all the points. Do something like this, maybe. It looks interesting. I'll keep playing around with it just a little bit, and I think that's alright. So I'm going to select split mask. I'm gonna isolate this one, and I'll get rid of the second one because I don't want it. And hidden. I'll press Ctrl D a couple of times just so I can smooth the surface. Let's change the color maybe. Okay, so now I'm going to bring it down. Let me tell you that this won't look pretty, since this is just to show you how to do this and the principles. So this probably won't end up looking that pretty. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is try to think about the way of the flow of this tentacle suction pad. So I'm going to go with my dem standard, and I'll try to think of a way that I may think that will look interesting. So yeah, that looks alright. I'm going to set then the borders of this thing. Again, this won't be looking pretty, but I'll try to make it as pretty as I can, and then I'm going to set some here behind, just as if some muscles or something, or at least to propose that something's going on over there, right? I'm seeing that this is a bit down, so I'm going to point it up, and we're getting some stretches here, and I'm going to make use of that by using my standard brush. Let me set it to, oh, I think it's correctly set. I thought I changed something, but apparently not. Then you can get this nice compression of the skin. Maybe here too, probably. And then I'll go again with my temp standard. And yeah, something like that. Again, go with my, I'm going to use my clay tubes so I can get some layering going on. Something like that. And I'm going to clean pretty quickly the borders here, just a tiny bit. And then when we are finished with this, I'm going to move it right here. We can go to our ZBRUSH mask pen and set it to drag rectangle, and maybe set a circular alpha. Then we can draw by pressing Ctrl over here and start creating some stuff, or even with our normal setup we can just draw over this a couple of times. And I think this is alright. You can invert the mask and select inflate, and then we can go in with our dem standard and press into each suction cup just to give it a bit more detail. And with more time and by thinking better ways to tackle this, I mean like the lines, think more about the flow, and keep in mind all these aspects so it looks more believable. Always use reference, remember, and you'll get some nice looking tentacles in no time. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a nice time sculpting too. Bye.